Okay, it's 7 o'clock, so welcome everybody to the June 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Orland Park Plan Commission. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we'll start with our roll call. I'm Chairman Parisi. Commissioner Schuessler? Here. Commissioner Paul?
Here.
Commissioner Zamparelli?
Here.
Commissioner Zatar? Here. Commissioner Sanchez is absent. And Commissioner Nugent?
Here.
Thank you.
And Commissioner Zatar, for the record, is attending remotely. And Commissioner Zatar, can you state the reason for your remote attendance?
Joe, did you hear that?
Oh, my mic is, sorry, my microphone
Joe,
was not,
could you-
I'm sorry.
Could you state the reason for your remote attendance?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, we've all seen, I hope, a copy of the minutes of the May 20th meeting. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Schuessler?
move they be approved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Schuessler, seconded by Commissioner Zamparelli. All in favor?
Aye.
There you go, Joe. You got it. Okay, thank you. I move that we open public hearings with public hearing number 2024-0892, Public Works Optimization Project, 15655 South Ravinia Avenue.
Second.
I have a motion and a second by Commissioner Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nobody opposed? Thank you. Okay, so we can begin by hearing from the petitioner. Let me just see here. Yeah.
We're gonna swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Good, good. So, and you're, obviously you've been aware of the special use standards and you've complied with all this with our planning and development committee.
Yes.
So, go ahead. You have the floor.
Oh, thank you. Again, Joel Vanessen, the Public Works Director. With me, Mike Mazza, my Operations Manager for Facilities and Natural Resources. I flipped it on you. Usually his title's the other way. And Steve Ebeck from Valdez. Steve led the design efforts for the project. Valdez has done an outstanding job for us for the past about a year and a half designing this project.
Thank you.
I have a short overview of the project with some Legos in front of you as well.
Very impressive.
So it's a 3D model way to kind of represent the public works site. Just a little bit of a history. The original building was the 1960 on the far right side. And then we had an addition onto the building in 1993. And then we're proposing a partial larger bay area on your left. Yeah, your left. Okay. Ironically, or more foreshadowing, we have a 1993 rendering of the public works site to the right, which showed a very larger bay area, which the plan is to kind of meet that vision. Back in 1993, they didn't do all of that design. They also didn't, we didn't demo the old 1996 building in that, and we didn't build a salt dome. We just added that. That was a little bit after 1993. So it kind of I did this last time too. We wanted to keep the look the same for the facility. So the addition would have the same archway into the larger bay area. So that's what you see from Ravinia. Also, we are recladding the old building because a lot of the insulation is falling apart and falling down. So we want to bring that building up because we're going to turn that into storage and also shop spaces. So in order to do that, we want a cohesive look for the site. And so we also, here's the site. We also are doing a salt shed. So I'll just do a little bit of a order of what we're thinking of doing on the site. First thing for the construction phase is to construct a salt and brine building. This would be back in the dirt area of the site here. Building would be put in the back here. Okay. So the building would be built in the back. To include material bin areas back here. So it kind of pulls a lot of that the stuff of Public Works to the back of the site, away from the public viewing and so forth. Also, the brine and salt building would be back here. We are trying to reduce our salt usage. It's an EPA rule that we have to follow for the village, and to use more brine. So the brine mix is also better for the roads because it sticks versus the salt bouncing off to the side and getting into our streams. So because of this, the building has both functions. You can see the drawings above. The building has push wall concrete. So when we put the salt in there, it keeps it from the walls pushing out. Above it, we're going to be cladding it to match that old building, the same metal sheathing around the building. So the whole site will have that particular look of color. You don't see a push wall on the east wall, the second one down. That's because it's kind of bare, it's behind, that's where the brine, the tanks will be, so you don't see that push wall. It's hidden, it's inside the building. So that whole salt area will be having that protection for the push walls. So the next thing we're going to do on the site is we have an old range. Oh, sorry, the next page. Oops. So we have an old range building. The new range building is almost complete. We'll have a ribbon cutting here very shortly. So the old range will go away. We have an old army building that we currently have the brine in, but it doesn't have a containment spill for the brine currently. So one of the things that the new building has is a containment inside the building. So in case one of the tanks ruptures, it doesn't get into the storm system. The last piece is the current salt area. Some of the walls are starting to kind of push because we've been pushing the salt. It's moving the walls, so we've had to actually support some of those walls because they've started to shift on us. We also have a lot of pitting and corroding of the overhead joists. So we need to kind of fix that. We can't have that. The salt is kind of corroding that area. So once we do that demo, the last is to actually build all the vehicle storage will be now on this side of the building, which kind of looks like that. That's the large square area. So some of the vehicles are in this building, some are in behind the building, some are in the front of the building. We got a lot of vehicles that obviously, if we keep it outside, it degrades the vehicles. The lifespan is longer. That means more cost to the village. I'm trying to reduce that cost with this project to have the storage in that area. And then the last area is to renovate this area into storage, the older building, and that shop space. We have a lot of spaces in the village, kind of spread out. Old Village Hall, rec admin, basement of Village Hall. We have these areas that Mike's team works out of, and that can be consolidated to one location. And so that building will be there. They can have that. And then that allows more storage space and program spacing for rec programs and so forth for the village. And I think that's the last that's the overview of it. I can turn to whatever slide you like, and then we can answer any questions you have on the project.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now go over to our development team.
Thank you. Yes, while I'm pulling this presentation up, I will be presenting from the podium today. So bear with me one moment.
That's good because we can't see you on this end of.
There's a big picture in front of your face.
That's okay. She's going to move up there anyway. That's fine.
Joe, where did you dig up that picture? Joe, where did you find that picture? Where was that at?
It's out at the wall of Public Works.
No kidding.
Been up there.
30 years?
Since 1993.
A little while.
I walked by it one day, I'm like, hey, that's what we're doing.
All right, thank you. So I would like to begin by requesting that the staff report be accepted into the record as written and as presented during this meeting. So thank you, Joel, for providing a good overview of the project, but I'll get into the details about what sort of zoning entitlements are required for this project. So first is a rezoning, a plat of consolidation, a special use permit for a planned development with modifications from the land development code, and then of course, per usual, a site plan and building elevations approval. Just tap the screen. It should work after that. Perfect, thank you, okay. So the subject property is located at 15655 Ravinia Avenue. It's located within the core mixed-use district and the OS open space district. Under the comprehensive plan, the location falls under the regional core district with a land designation of regional mixed use. Here's an image of the regional core planning district from the comprehensive plan. The property is bordered by wetlands to the east, some vacant land to the north and west, and residential to the south. And this can be seen by this recent aerial image of the property as well. I won't go over the whole background of the property. Joel did a good job with that. However, I just wanted to mention that the property has been rezoned and expanded over 4 separate parcels. There's currently 5 buildings on the site. The main building houses their administration, the south garage and the north garage. That tomb is a storage building, and then along with the gun range, and there's 2 smaller buildings. As part of this project, the tomb, gun range, and the 2 smaller buildings will be demolished to accommodate the new site improvements. So the first request tonight is to rezone one of the 4 parcels from OS open space to the core mixed use district. And that's really just to make the zoning consistent with the use of the property. So shown in the image here, there's an oddly shaped parcel, which is the green one, the OS district, so that we're requesting to be rezoned to core mixed use. So as part of any rezoning project, the petitioner responded to the LaSalle standards to verify that the proposed zoning matches the intent of the comprehensive plan and the current and surrounding uses of the property. And the responses were sufficient for staff. They just discussed that the site will be continued to be used as the public works facility, and the site improvements will benefit the surrounding area overall. In addition to the rezoning, staff has requested that the petitioner consolidate the 4 lots into one, and this is primarily so that buildings aren't constructed over property lines, and it really just cleans up the property from an administrative perspective. The consolidation creates 1 lot that meets the minimum requirements for the core zoning district, and staff's in support of this request. Moving forward to the site plan, this is the existing plan where we can see the layout of the buildings in relation to the entire site. Joel went over this in great detail, so I'll move on to the proposed site plan. The north garage addition is approximately a little over 62,000 square feet, while the new salt shed is about 19,293 square feet. And due to the size of the salt shed, this is considered a second principal structure on the lot, which then triggers the requirement for the special use permit for the planned development. that. So moving on to the building elevations for the north garage. Joel shared these as well. As you can see here, the proposal is to continue the existing architectural features on the building, just to allow for more seamless design. However, this does require a modification from the Land Development Code in regard to our design standards to expand the design, just because it doesn't meet our brick and masonry requirement for non-residential buildings in the village. Then, as Joel shared as well, here is a rendering of the building elevations. The only thing that has changed since this plan was provided was the material storage bins on the side are actually being moved to the rear of the site, south of the salt shed you can see here. Those darker squares outlined will be where the material storage bins will be located, as opposed to the side of the north garage. That's actually going to be converted to a more lay-down storage area. There's also going to be lay-down storage on the perimeter of the site, the south of the site. This won't be very visible from the public right-of-way. It'll be mostly screened by, there is an existing fence there and also existing landscaping, and just due to the layout of the site with the buildings, it'll provide a lot of coverage so that these won't be very visible from the public right-of-way. Here's another building elevation, which Joel also shared, just to show the entire front west facade, where you can see all three portions of the structure. The salt shed will mostly be hidden in the back, at least from this facade. And then here are the elevations for the proposed salt shed. The design also requires a modification from the Land Development Code because it won't meet the brick and masonry requirement. The shed will be about 43 feet tall, and again, as I mentioned, it'll be mostly hidden just due to its location on the site. And I believe Joel mentioned this, but the storage of salt requires certain building materials just to ensure minimal corrosion and deterioration of the structure, which is one of the reasons why the brick and masonry requirement cannot be met for this structure. So the petitioner has also responded to the special use permit standards. Their responses discuss that the permit will allow for the continued use of the site as the public works facility, and it will ultimately benefit the community by optimizing the salt storage and general operations for public works. So as mentioned previously, both the addition to the north garage and the new salt shed will not meet the brick or masonry material requirement. So this is considered a modification in association with their special use permit for the planned development. As sort of to offset this modification, I'll go here. They're proposing to plant additional trees on site. So they're actually requesting two modifications. The first one is for the building material. The second one is to eliminate the requirement to provide parking lot landscape islands. So since this project involves slight modifications to the parking lot, this triggers the requirement to bring it up to code in regard to the parking lot island landscaping. However, just due to the unique conditions of the site and the regular use of larger vehicles, snowplows, etc., staff is in support of this modification request. And again, just to offset this request, they're going to be planting additional trees above and beyond the parking lot landscape island requirement. So this is a substantial improvement to offset their modification request. Okay, and then moving on to the staff recommended action. This is a bit of a longer one today, so it spans over multiple slides. So I'll read through the whole thing just for fun. So regarding case number 2024-0892, also known as the Public Works Optimization Project, staff recommends to accept and make findings of fact as discussed at this Plan Commission meeting and within the staff report dated May 29, 2025. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approve a rezoning of one of the four parcels from the Open Space District OS to the Mixed Use District Core. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approve a plat of consolidation prepared by Valdez Architecture and Engineering, revised April 28, 2023. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approve a special use permit for plan development with modifications from the Land Development Code, subject to conditions 1 and 2. And staff also recommends the modifications, as I mentioned previously in the presentation, 1 and 2. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approve a site plan prepared by Valdez Architecture and Engineering, revised January 16, 2025, subject to the condition that the development will be in substantial conformance with this preliminary site plan. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approve building elevations prepared by Valdez Architecture and Engineering, revised September 20th, 2024, subject to the condition that the development will be in substantial conformance with the preliminary building elevations. And this is the recommended motion, and this concludes staff presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's been 32 years, but it seems like you got a real detailed and well-thought-out plan. So thank you for that. At this point, I don't think there's anybody from the public here. And so I will go to my commissioners. Commissioner Nugent.
I had a couple things for you. So I don't know if you need to go back to the slides or not, you can answer it. Is there still an area of green to the east of us, to the east of the detention between us and Seasons 52?
Yes, that's all vacant. Is that what you mean? Here, I'll go
Yeah,
to the
there's
area.
still one parcel there, right? Right there.
Yes.
So is that parcel the village?
No,
So that's zoned core.
correct.
Who owns it? Just a
Private entity.
Okay. So, in planning this, we thought about the development of that and what its potential uses are?
Correct. I believe it's part of a planned development with the Seasons 52 and the other outlots there. They were all part of one development at one point, but the larger parcel just never was developed.
Do Seasons 52 and stands utilize the detention that we have? Or do they have something separate? Does engineering know? What happens to the drainage for them?
For this development, the stormwater is conveyed to the existing detention pond in the southeast corner. As far as Seasons 52's detention, I'm not sure. I didn't look into that. I don't know if Joel or Valdez.
Yeah, I'll say if and when that vacant parcel is developed, adequate stormwater detention would be required for it.
No, I get it. I'm just wondering
Yeah.
if those two are already going there now. To be honest, I have not been in Seasons 52. I've been in the predecessor. They don't have outdoor dining in the back, right? If they utilize it, it's in the front, right? So
Correct.
us putting a salt shed in the back, we haven't affected their view, right?
Correct, and there's a fence there, and I don't think that's one of our concerns.
Okay. I just wanted to detract from that. What's the height of the salt shed? It's pretty tall, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 43 feet.
Okay, because that's
Yeah,
what I was thinking about for that. And then the condos, which are in our extreme corner to the south, if anything, we've only improved their view, even though they're tall. I mean, they might see the salt shed, but overall, we're improving what they look at, right?
Correct.
Okay. And I just, all of you or collectively, I mean, we said that we have no wetlands or any other tributaries. This whole pocket is wetlands and tributary. So we're not, this idea that we don't need to have more, and we haven't disturbed it. I mean, this is all, I mean, the reason why the land across the streets like that is, it's wetlands. It's not buildable, really.
So part of the pond does get a little bit larger based on the calculations, but it's in that existing pond on the east side.
So we're increasing our paved area, and then for overflow of the actual asphalting and such, we're not doing like we make restaurants do. We're gonna be all asphalt, right? We're not doing some soaking down like at the police station.
No.
So which direction is the elevation, the pitch? Where's the water going?
In the back, it pitches on the site, kind of like where our existing tomb area is. It gathers there and it gets pitched to the front, and then that goes into the municipal basin to the north, this overall slope.
The municipal basin to the north being
Yeah,
on
no.
site or another parcel? Wait,
The water conveys to the municipal basin as the final endpoint.
okay. Because even the land south of Darvin is kind of unbuildable, right?
There's some wet areas in there, so it's not as attractive as other land.
So when this is done, are we literally, you said it, and I'm just doing it more for public that looks at it later. All vehicle storage in town is gonna be here. Everything related to public works, because you're building, everything's coming there. So, and I'm not even sure, is the old village hall coming down? But you
No.
guys utilize part of that. So after this is done, you're not utilizing like old village hall or any other sites?
No, public works vehicles would be at the site. We planned about 10% just for, in case there's growth. You know, if we have to have more trucks to do salt operations, say, in the farmland, if those become developed. But we'll still have Village Hall vehicles here. Parks still has their vehicles, near their garage. And they have the buses down here. Police have their vehicles too, so.
I just meant you guys, though. So for
Yeah,
you guys.
Public Works
everything
wise,
is-
yeah.
So you're gonna be completely removed from the old Village Hall.
Yes, correct,
You are currently there, right?
correct,
And you have been there.
correct.
Okay, and then, and then again, with the environmental stuff with the salt, because you're putting in the concrete walls and all that, we're not worried about salt emitting and getting into the detention stuff. Because we're doing concrete, we're gonna completely improve any ability for the salt to mix with water and all that to escape.
There's one thing I didn't mention is we actually have worked with a company in Wisconsin or, okay. But I always get Wisconsin, Minnesota mixed up. In Wisconsin, they have corrosive resistant wood that they actually treat the wood. So that'd be the substructure. So that will help with the salt corrosiveness. And that's what we'll be sheathing, so you don't see that treated wood.
Oh, I know what my last thing was. So
And-
these
and-
little things that are gonna be at the eastern border, these little storage sheds of materials, so the type of things we're having is maybe other stones or other molds that
Correct.
we use throughout the
Yep.
village. I don't know, I don't wanna profess to know, is this the type of thing where mice and all that decide to nest? And are we good on that?
Currently, we don't have that problem, because we.
So we store materials outside now and that's not an
Correct.
issue?
It's along the range area, so.
Because we got a lot of natural areas and those attract those animals. I'm just asking for the condos if anybody ever asks. Okay,
Yes.
great. It looks like a great project. I'm excited it's finally happening.
And the height, it helps us also, currently our operations is dump the salt in the exterior area, and they push it into the salt area.
Right.
With the door height and the height of the building, we can bring the trucks in when they deliver salt, tip it, and dump it in the building, so we don't,
It's that tall. Wow.
so the door height, on one of the slides, you can see the height. It allows that to occur, and we don't have, see how the
Looks pretty
top?
tall.
Yes, so that allows that, the delivery truck to pull in and dump it in there.
It's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nugent. Commissioner Schussler?
This is interesting because I was involved in the development of the 1993 building, that picture. And at the time, the decision was made not to build what's in the picture for financial reasons. So now we're back a few years later because we have need. When I was on the board, I think the projection was at build out, which should be when 95% of the vacant land is built upon, the population would be somewhere around 80,000. Is your projections that this addition will take us to build out, that we won't need any more additions?
That is the plan, because we can multi-use the aisle space even to, if we needed a truck to be pre-staged and then launch in the morning. So not only 10% in the parking spots, but we have aisle space too. So yes, we can accommodate that when the growth of the village.
All right, so this should be the last addition. Besides, I think you're out of space.
I'm
Anyway,
kind of out of space there as well, so.
have to build another site. What is laydown coverage storage? What is that?
So we factored that a couple of things could be, a laydown area might be like light poles. We're not gonna store that in the building, but we need some areas for light poles. Utility has manhole cover, manhole rings and so forth. Dumpsters, natural resources as maybe trees that may get delivered, and we're gonna plant them. So we have to store them away from the sun for a while until we can get them planted. What other things?
Okay, I get the idea. Excuse me. A few weeks ago, we had a long discussion with regard to a lot where a house had burned down, and there was a requirement that they couldn't meet to rebuild the house entirely with brick or masonry. And they asked for a variance, and there was a lot of discussion about that. Was it gonna set a precedent? So are we setting a precedent here by waiving brick or masonry for this addition? And the second part of that question is, the Public Works Director mentioned that there was a problem with some of the material on the outside of the building that was deteriorating. What, is that ephes on the outside of the building? What is that light-colored material on the top of the?
Yes. Yeah. What, we had two areas that, the inner wall was getting pushed out, and then I talked about the ceiling joists. But I think what you're describing is, yeah, there was some cracks on the walls because of the pushing as well, and you could see the whiteness along the edge, and that's the salt area, and that's the part that will get
Well, the
demoed.
salt area is going to come down entirely, right?
Correct.
So on the part that isn't salt area, the part to the south, the part where the garage right now, is there anything that's going to happen on the outside wall of that older building, of the 93 building?
Oh, the 1960 building?
No, the 93 building.
Oh, 93.
The part that's used for the trucks right now.
Yeah, well, we're gonna paint that so it matches with the addition, so it'll be cohesive, so we're not gonna just.
There's
leave
no
it-
change in the material, you're gonna,
No,
okay,
it's-
and you're,
it's-
for the addition, you're gonna
similar
use the same material?
Correct.
What is that material on the top, Mr. Architect? Okay,
What was it?
precast concrete?
Yeah,
so-
okay.
And what about the kind of reddish color on the bottom? Is that also precast concrete?
Could you kindly, sir? Sir, you need to be sworn in because this is being recorded. Welcome to the podium, please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
And again, for the record, your name and address.
Sure. Steve Enoch, reside at 4110 Riverview Drive in St. Charles, Illinois.
Okay.
And so the exterior walls are precast concrete panels. They come in, I think, 15-foot sections or 12-foot sections. They just crane them up, put them down. And for the brown part, did we decide on a paint or some kind of, yeah, it's a paint color that's going to be on the bottom part of the precast concrete panels.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any problem with that, other than the fact we're doing something that we wouldn't, given a variance where we probably would have a big issue with giving the same variance to a private party that was building a similar building. So we have to, I think, just have to be cognizant of that. The same thing with the parking islands, although there's I think, more of a justification for the parking islands because the parking area is kind of narrow, as I recall, so that's easy to justify there, but I guess we can justify it by the fact that we're just matching what was done in 1993, and I think they did it in 1993 to save money, quite frankly, because there was a big to-do at the village board level about whether we should even spend any money on public works, which was a policy issue. There were, at the time, people involved in village government that didn't think public works really needed resources. I mean, we should spend most of our money on police, public safety. And quite frankly, public works was at the bottom of the list of priorities. I'm one that fought for resources, and I'm happy we got what we got, but I would have been happy if we got more at the time, but we didn't. So I'm glad to see that this is coming to fruition finally at this point.
Thank you, Commissioner Schuster.
Thank you.
Commissioner Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I just want to, on the salt shed, what was the term you used, pressure wall? What was,
The The treated wood or
The problem we have with the current one,
push wall.
push wall. What exactly is that again?
It's a concrete wall that resists the forces when you're pushing the salt into the building,
Okay.
It acts as a reactionary force to hold the walls so they don't bulge out. So those are concrete, but outside the wood area.
Okay.
So they're not getting touched by salt.
And the problem with masonry then is that,
So, yeah, if we have masonry in there, the salt will start eating into that masonry, joints and so forth. And so that will actually hurt the building overall. That's why you see a lot of those domes are wood as well,
got it.
you know.
Okay, and that's kind of what I thought. And like Commissioner Susler said, we are setting a precedent, but
Correct.
I don't know how many private companies are going to be coming in here storing salt. I mean, if they are, I guess we'll have to make an exception for them too, but I don't really see that as an issue. Plus, it's out of the public view anyway.
Correct.
So, I mean, you know, I don't see that being an issue there. And I think it makes sense. It's something that needs to be done.
We did do a lot of evaluations with Valdez on trying to put brick in the front, but it looked really Frankensteined. You know, it's like the houses that have a whole different brick compared to the old brick. Oh, it's not good.
I mean, to
So
spend the
this-
money just to say we did,
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense either. I think this is a good idea, and the time has come to do it, so I have no problem with that. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Yeah, and I agree, it's a unique project, public works project, and it has some unique features about it. I'm less concerned about, I mean, we should always be concerned about setting precedents, but in this case, it's a pretty unique project. Do we have any comments, Commissioner Zatar?
Chairman, I have no concerns. Commissioner actually knocked out a couple of my questions.
Okay.
I would say, for the record, I'm not sure personally I agree with the project financially. I think the population question and the capacity question was great. It probably should be maybe clarified or presented, but from a planning commission perspective, I don't see any issues with the project waiting on longer.
Thank you, Commissioner Zatar. Commissioner Zamparelli?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Joel, I'm curious. Now, they made the old salt shed out of steel and concrete, correct? Now, that's 32 years old, right?
Correct.
Now, all the state highway, those are wood, aren't they? Why the heck didn't we do that?
Well, we were exploring a lot of options, and we actually looked at Woodridge. Yeah, Woodridge had a building built like what we're planning on. But yeah, we were looking at state.
Well, there's one on 131st and Southwest Highway there. The state, that's wood, correct?
35th.
135th, okay, 135th.
county.
Yeah, oh, well, either way, it's made out of wood, correct?
Township.
I think
No, it's not township, that's, is it county?
the county highway.
County
yeah,
highway one.
Yes, yes.
Township
Yeah.
has one on Wolf Road.
I know, but that's what I'm thinking. That's what ours is gonna kind of look like, correct? A little bit taller, though.
I haven't been back in there
okay.
so
Because wood makes sense.
it does. Yeah, it does. And we searched a couple of different design efforts, you know, with some different ideas. It was one of the hardest decisions to try to find the right solution for us.
I think the property looks great. I'm not a fan of the islands anyway, so I don't think we need the islands. I think planting enough trees. Really, I think that the whole compound there looks nice. Plenty of parking, so I'm excited. I'm kind of curious. I don't know if I can ask this. What are we spending on this?
So right now, we're using the motor fuel tax funds. So we think about 5 million and we can do that for the salt shed building. And we estimate about 11 million for the remaining portion of the project. So in total, about 16 and a half, and then we added about $1 million in contingency just in case we come across something. Because we do have a Nike site. Missiles used to be under the Public Works, and we're crossing one of them with a bond beam as part of the structure.
Yeah, it's under the lunchroom.
The bomb shelter's gone though, right? I don't think we collapsed it, we just filled it in, didn't we?
A lot
it's
of, lot of filling in, yes.
They bridged over where the lunchroom is. That's
That's one of them, yes.
one of the
Yes.
silos.
No,
So,
the
we-
gas pumps are staying the same, everything over there is gonna be,
Yes, we finished all the gas pumps. We replaced the tanks this past year, or early this year. So the fuel tanks are all brand new. The pumps are new. The canopy is good condition. So we're gonna keep that.
great, I think it's great, I think it's a nice project, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, yeah, we also planted those trees already.
Thank you.
Oh, you know what, I did want to, how long, do we keep a lot of salt, or is it that, we don't, if you order it right, you don't store it for the summer, do you? What do you?
We do. We have to make our final order by a certain date. So the past couple winters have been very mild. And so we've stuffed salt anywhere we can find, which is the Tomb building right now. But this building is slightly larger. Even though I'm trying to reduce with Brian, I've accommodated thinking about the future. If we have development in the future, we have to have more salt probably. So it was a hard battle to try to find the right size. But yes, we store it during the summer.
How much salt can it hold? I don't mean to be insulting.
Right now it's 4,000, but yeah, because of the height, I think we could get 9,000 tons.
9,000 tons?
Yes.
It seems like, I mean, that's one good road, good snow, right?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how much we use with the village.
That's all for me. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Joel.
Thank you, Commissioner Samparelli. Well, please.
I do have one thing that I would like to clarify just for everyone. So for the brick and masonry requirement, this is a modification request, so it's a bit different from the variance request that we saw a couple weeks ago with the single-family home. So this modification request is tied to the special use permit for the planned development. So the purpose of the modification is so that we have a bit more flexibility with the code when we have unique developments like this or unique projects like this that require a lot of work, and obviously our code requirements are very stringent at times, so that's why we offer this modification. So the request for the modification, we require that there's some sort of incremental improvement to offset that request, which is the planting additional trees on the site. So that's why it's a bit different from the variance, so I don't want to confuse anyone, but just to keep that in mind when you're reviewing the proposal.
Thank you for that clarification. No. Well,
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Schuster.
I don't think we are setting a precedent, even though I raised the issue to begin with, because we're trying to match something that's existing. So that's a special circumstance with regard to this site. So I don't think we're really setting a precedent. And I'm ready to make a
I
motion.
didn't hear your entire statement, Ed.
Oh, I said, I don't think we're setting a precedent. We get hung up on, are we setting a precedent? Can we
Oh,
do this?
yeah.
Are we setting?
Nor am I.
don't think we are in this case. I think the justification is we're trying to match a pretty good-sized building that exists, so it doesn't look like Ed said, where it looks like you put an addition on it, very clearly looks like an addition because it doesn't match what's existing. So I think it'll look much better if we try and match what's existing, which the architect has tried to do, and I think that's the justification for the modification and why we're not setting a precedent by doing this.
Well, I don't think you're setting a precedent anyway. Every petition stands on its own merit.
Yeah,
So-
that's true, too.
Well, you gentlemen have covered the last point that I was going to make, is just that I don't believe we're setting any precedent here. But thank you for doing that. Okay.
And if anything, it kind of
Commissioner Nugent.
Excuse me, kind of emulates the industrial area to the west of Good Shepherd, between, what are the two streets, 104th and 108th?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's there. So, I mean, if we're emulating that, and because of the architect's choices of materials and their colorations, your first impression, it's brick. So the aesthetic, like if I live across the wetlands at the Centennial Townhomes, it kind of looks brick. So, you know, but it should emulate the properties west of Good Shepherd, and it does,
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you.
in my view.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion if you're ready.
Please, yes.
Regarding case number 2024-0892, also known as Public Works Optimization Project, I move to approve the staff recommended action as presented in the staff report to this Plan Commission for this case.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Schussler, seconded by Commissioner Zamparelli. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll do a roll call. Sure. Commissioner Zatar. Commissioner Paul.
Aye.
Chairman Parisi, aye. Commissioner Schussler.
Aye.
Commissioner Nugent.
Aye.
And Commissioner Zamparelli.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. So, thank you. Thank you for a detailed presentation.
next
and,
step.
Good luck. Nice project. Okay, I move that we close public hearings.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Paul. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any other new business? Okay. Given that, I move that we adjourn at 7:47 PM.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much. That was a great presentation, by the way.